Welcome to season 10 of the Parenting Aces podcast, part of the Tennis Channel Podcast Network. I'm your host, Lisa Stone, and today we've got an old friend rejoining us for the pod, Trent Bryde, who is now a senior at University of Georgia playing on their men's team. I just looked back through ParentingAces.com and realized it's been 4 years since the last time Trent was on the podcast discussing his venture, TennisMentors.net. And I'm so excited to have him back to share with us what's been happening over the past 4 years and what's happening now and moving forward with this innovative setup that he started with a fellow tennis player from the Atlanta area. Both boys grew up in Atlanta, and I shouldn't even call them boys anymore. They are now men. And I'm just thrilled to get a chance to chat with Trent again and learn what's happening with Tennis Mentors and hear a little bit about his experience playing at University of Georgia. But before I bring Trent on, just a quick reminder, if you haven't already, we would love to have you join us as a premium member of Parenting Aces. Just go to ParentingAces.com, click on the join button, and you'll get all the info you need to know to become a free, a monthly, or an annual member of our site. Also, if you are a tennis parent or a junior tennis coach and are interested in becoming a Parenting Aces ambassador, we'd love to have you part of that crew as well. All that info is on our homepage, again, at ParentingAces.com. And while you're there, don't forget to click the shop button and pick up some of our cool merch. All right, all that said, I am going to bring Trent on. Pardon me with the technology. We are doing a video recording. There he is. Oh, yay, I made it work.
Awesome.
It's so good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So fill me in on the last 4 years. The last time we chatted, Tennis Mentors was just getting off the ground. You were working with some of your fellow players who you had come up through the juniors alongside, and you're still doing that. So Tell us what's up.
Yeah, Tennis Mentors has been through quite a journey. And so when I was 16, we started it. And when we chatted, I was working with a couple friends, Patrick Kipson, Sam Riffis, Gianni Ross. They're now, 3 of them went to school, and one of them turned pro. The other 2 are still in school. And so what we were doing was just mentoring juniors, just because we felt like that we had seen everything in the junior tennis and that we reached kind of the pinnacle of junior tennis, being able to play the Grand Slams and stuff like that. And then when we got to school, it got really tough because compliance didn't allow a lot of the things that we were doing. Mm-hmm. So I kind of had to shut it down, put it away on pause for a little bit. And then I had a little bit more of an innovative idea and hired one of my buddies named Joe Scandolfo, who played at Georgia Tech, played tennis there. And we came together and we spent about a year developing this online course, which consists of basically, it's the same concept. I'm not trying to teach forehands or backhands. It's basically, we feel like that throughout the junior tennis circuit, there's a lot of roadblocks, and mm-hmm. A lot of parents don't really know how which way to go. You know, if I wanted to play golf tomorrow, I would have no clue what to do, right? You know, what clubs to get, what academies to go to, how to learn, you know, stuff like that. So that's where we kind of fill the gap there in the online course, and we give all the information, whether it comes down to, you know, how to schedule tournaments, understanding rackets and string, how to find a coach, how to find an academy, and just a plethora of information that just covers everything that you need to know. It's 35 videos. It's super informational, and that's what we've released right now. And so far it's going really great, and we've gotten some great feedback on it.
So I've done a couple podcasts now on name, image, likeness and the Supreme Court ruling that came down in June. How did that impact your ability to move forward with Tennis Mentors?
Dramatically. So I had this idea of the online course about a year ago, about a year and a half ago. And we decided to go on and develop the course through quarantine. That was kind of a time there where we could just kind of go in the office and just knock out a bunch of videos after we developed all the scripts and everything. So we did that, and I wanted to kind of slowly release it last spring, but when I heard about the name, image, and likeness, I didn't want to release it in a more under the radar way. When I heard about that, I was like, I'm just going to hold off on it. We'll refine some videos, make sure everything is up to date. And then as it's been live, we just did change a couple little details, and we just released it. And so it made a dramatic impact. And I feel like I have a lot more freedom to now do whatever I want to do.
Right.
With it.
And
so it's great.
Just for our listeners and viewers that aren't familiar with name, image, likeness, if you've missed the previous podcasts or all the information that's been out online about this, it was a big deal because the Supreme Court ruled that the NCAA could not block student athletes from using their own name, image, and likeness and making money off of that. So whether it's having a business or whether it's endorsements or sponsors, now student athletes can actually earn money. There are different rules in different states, and there's still a lot of fuzzy stuff around it, but this now opens the door for you, Trent, and Joseph to pursue a business opportunity that is connected to tennis. And so maybe in the past, the compliance officers at TAC and UGA would have said, we got to be careful there. We're risking, getting sanctioned. Now the Supreme Court has said, go for it. Do this.
Yeah. Name, image, and likeness has been huge for, all athletes.
Right.
Especially for myself, who loves to start a new venture, especially in tennis, because I have so much passion for tennis and helping the next generation. But this helps everyone. I mean, football players are becoming millionaires overnight. Basketball players and all these big time athletes in these schools are making big time money now because of this. So it's a great opportunity for all the student athletes to kind of leverage what they're doing. And I'm excited to leverage what I'm doing as well. So it's big for everyone, and I know everyone's really excited.
You've had an entrepreneurial mindset since I've known you. I mean, and I've known you since you were pretty young. This isn't your first business venture, but it's your current business venture. And I think it's really awesome that you and Joseph have come together and found a way to help the players coming up behind you. Just to clarify what Tennis Mentors is and who it's for, you do have these videos, and what's the structure of the business? Like, if I want to become a client of yours, how does that work?
Yep. So basically, it's just a flat fee. There's no monthly subscription to the course. It's $39.95 for the course, and you get all the videos.
Okay.
So now on top of that, we're developing it right now. We're not done with it. It's going to be probably live in about a week or two. We're starting this Tennis Mentors agency. And so what the Tennis Mentors agency will consist of, it's going to be 2 levels. One level is going to be kind of an intermediate level, and the next one's going to be a more advanced level. And with those 2 levels, they'll be subscription based. And this is where we get more involved personally. So the course is giving a bunch of general information, just kind of understanding the structure and everything and how it works. But if you still want us to be kind of more involved in your day-to-day, helping, set goals for the player, help set up tournament schedules. If you need help finding a racket or string, we bring the knowledge, we bring, ideas, unique fitness plans. We're partnering with TB Fitness. And that's Ted Bogartine, who's in the Atlanta area, who works with a lot of professional tennis players and has worked with me throughout my whole career. He's helping us build unique plans for players, and the list just goes on and on. Basically, what our goal is with the agency is to fill all the gaps. So we want the parents to be able to just worry about the finances, the kid just to worry about playing tennis, and the coaches just to worry about coaching. Because the coaches, at the end of the day, they're wanting to teach the forehands and backhands and the serves. They don't want to have to worry about the little details. And that's where we come in and we take a weight off all the shoulders of everyone, and we fill all the gaps so that no one has to feel that extra stress. We can just handle that for you. And so that's what our goal is with the agency, and we're really excited what that has to offer for everyone.
So let me just clarify. So the videos are geared toward the players or toward the parents?
Both.
Okay.
Both. So both sides are gonna get some great info out of it. We want the players to be just as knowledgeable as the parents. The parents are the ones that's gonna be having the authority because they're gonna be paying for everything. So we want them to understand what's going on just as much as the player. And that was one thing that helped me personally when I was growing up. So I had my sister who played, and for my parents, it was a little bit of trial and error, even though my dad had a background in tennis. But it was still difficult because there's not a direct pathway to understand
Right.
junior tennis. You just, if you play the state level 4 when you should have been playing the Southern 3, you don't know those things, right? And so this is kind of where they were able to educate me through some of the mistakes they made with my sister. And I was able to do everything pretty much correctly, except I went into the ITF tour, and my sister didn't really do ITFs, and so that was obviously a learning curve as well for all of us. And so basically we're covering everything from USTA tournaments to the ITF tournaments, just everything. We don't want anyone to feel lost at all, and that's where we are to step in and to provide that insight for everyone.
And I mean, it's a challenge, as the Parenting Aces audience well knows, because the way the tournament structure is set up is continually changing. We had, a huge change in 2021 with USTA. They completely changed their digital platform. They changed their ranking system. They changed their tournament structure. Everything is brand new, and it's still not, like, the details still aren't all fixed and working properly. Couple that with the fact that we've got Universal Tennis. I almost said UTR. They are rebranded. They are now Universal Tennis. We've now got Universal Tennis with a huge presence in not only the junior tennis tournament space, but also collegiate tournaments, and really setting up structures and pathways to national championships at all levels of the game. And then, as you mentioned, you've got the ITF and understanding what it means to play an international schedule and travel and balance that with school and other obligations and with family, and who's traveling with the kid. You can't send a 13 or 14-year-old across the world by him or herself. You need some adult there with them. So there are all these things that come up in the pathway that is different for every single kid. And you're a prime example, or your family's a prime example, Trent, because, as you said, your sister had one pathway to college tennis and had a very successful career in college. And then you went on a slightly different pathway, incorporating the ITF thing and also having a very successful college career. So it's so challenging. And I think it's really cool to see two players stepping in to kind of fill some gaps for families out there trying just to figure all this out and not spend money willy-nilly on stuff that really isn't helpful.
Exactly. And that's the thing, is we feel like, we're making it very reasonable. We don't want this to be just a super expensive course, make a quick buck. That's not the idea. Tennis Mentors is, we really want to make an impact. And we feel that, there's countless parents out there that are spending so much money on maybe the academies, 1 hour lessons, a coach charging, $300 an hour for a lesson, which is just astronomical. And, some kids are just getting robbed. And that's where we just want them to understand that we're here to educate you exactly on how it's supposed to be. And, with that, I think, for the parents that might be spending too much money, they're going to save a lot more money just by consulting with us. And like you said, UTR, Universal Tennis, they're growing dramatically. And, we have information about Universal Tennis as well. The list goes on and on. Tennis recruiting, There's just so many different things that you just can't learn except throughout experience.
Right.
And that's through just about 10 years of experience. And, that's where we want to just put it all in one course. The information is just together in one video course. You go through the course, you have all the information that you need. So we're really excited about this, and I think it's going to make a big difference for parents and players.
Yeah, agreed. So the agency side, I want to talk a little bit more about that, because it kind of pulls in what y'all were doing before, but it sounds like you're expanding on that, and really providing much more of a one-on-one interaction with the family. Am I
Yep.
reading that
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And what we want to do is we want to work with academies. We want to work with a couple big ones around the nation where they can kind of partner with us. We give them a good discount, and their goal is to just coach, and
Right.
they can redirect all the it was funny because I was talking to a coach the other day. I won't say his name, but he was saying it's the 10 minutes after a lesson when they need to go to another lesson. The parent wants to talk to him for another
Yeah.
10 minutes, and it's not even related to the kid's development. It's related to should he play this tournament 2 weeks from now, and should he play that tournament instead? How do we get colleges to look at him? And those are all very, very reasonable questions. Like, they're very important.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we want to come in, and we handle that for them. So the coaches can then just say, hey, go talk to Trent Bryde at Tennis Mentors. We'll redirect you to Tennis Mentors. They're professionals at this. They know everything about this. And that's where the agency kind of steps in, and we take care of things like that. And then, to mention, college recruiting, me and Joseph both have massive connections around the country with a ton of different college coaches. And so we're going to help kids along the college recruiting process because we both went through it, and we'll help them get in touch with colleges, and get in touch with the coaches that they might see fit for their college career. So again, it's going to be a full service thing where we fill all the gaps, and we're super excited. We think it's going to make a big impact for not just players, but for everyone. Like I said, the parents, the players, and the coaches. So it's going to benefit everyone involved.
I love that. And I mean, those who have been listening to Parenting Aces for a while know that I'm a huge proponent of the player, him or herself, driving the process when it comes to the college recruiting years, and really being involved and holding the reins for that, with parameters set by the parent and maybe parameters set by the junior coach who really understands the player's level and what their potential is and all of that. Will y'all encourage the players, as you're working with them through the agent side, to do the work themselves? Because I think there's so many opportunities for growth and for learning for junior players to actually be the ones reaching out to the coaches, having the communication, planning visits, understanding what's involved in playing at the collegiate level, reaching out to past and current players, and hearing their stories, and really developing a game plan around their recruiting, and then knowing how to execute that game plan and making that final decision on where to go.
100%. I couldn't agree with you more. And I think it's a better look as well for the players on the coaches. If we're reaching out for them, and or we're kind of doing all the dirty work for them, then it's just not a good look. And so what our goal with the college recruiting is to give them build the plan for them of what they need to do, because again, it's a confusing process.
Sure.
And for each sport in college, it's different. And
Yes.
for tennis, we're very understanding of how the tennis college recruiting process works. So we just don't want them to go in lost.
Right.
We want them to understand what's ahead of them, and then we're going to build a plan for them to execute on, whether they need to talk to this coach, give this type of information to this coach, not this. A lot of coaches get fed information that's stuff that they just don't, they get 100 different emails a day of maybe a 5-second clip of you hitting forehands and backhands. They don't really care about that, right? So there's a lot of other things that, you know, we're going to put together for them, so that they can execute on those plans, and that'll make them, the players, look the best, right?
Mhm.
And you know, there's also a couple, there's so many different agencies also that are, you know, doing a similar thing, but they're charging like thousands of dollars to,
Yes.
hey, we guarantee your kid's gonna play at this school or that school, and we're gonna fully got, and they don't even, you know, we're, again, our goal is, we want it to be reasonable, accessible. We want it to be commoditized for everyone. And we're just trying to help because we have the resources. It's not even that difficult of work for us because we just have the experience, we have the knowledge,
Mhm.
that can guide them in the right direction. So the college recruiting side of the agency is going to be massive for us.
Yeah, yeah. Talk a little bit about, Trent, your experience being a college athlete, because again, the last time I talked to you, you were still in high school. Now you're a senior at Georgia. How's it been?
It's been wild. It's been amazing. You know, there was a time in my career when I, reached 8 in the world in the juniors, and I was, you know, undecided. Do I go to school? Do I turn pro? You know, everyone around me, basically everyone top 20 was turning pro and playing, you know, futures challengers right out of the gates,
Yeah.
and they didn't even consider college. And you know, for me, I prolonged the decision as long as I could. I was playing futures, I was making quarters, semis, but never was, you know, making it, you know, semis, finals of challengers, or winning futures left and right. And when you're not doing that, I don't feel like I'm ready. Tennis isn't going to go anywhere, right? And there's so much to gain being a college athlete, especially at a school like the University of Georgia with such a historic program. I mean, I have everything at my fingertips, whether it comes to, you know, a world-class gym, world-class tennis facility, indoor courts, um, physical trainers, physical therapists, sports psychologists. I mean, the list goes on and on. And you know, all this for free, which is just absolutely phenomenal. And I'm so glad that I was able to, you know, realize that I, you know, wasn't ready for the tour yet. And again, that's still going to be my end goal. When I'm done with school, that's what I want to do. I want to play tennis because I love the sport so much. I even build a business around it, you know. So um, this is what I love to do, and college tennis has been amazing. And there's no greater feeling than, you know, winning alongside your brothers and your teammates. It makes winning feel a lot different in a great way. So um, UJ Tennis has brought me so much, and I'm so grateful, for what they've given me, and I'm glad that I was able to make the decision to come here.
And can you talk about the decision to stay for the whole 4 years? Because there are a lot of players in your situation coming into college that say, oh, well, I'm going to commit to a year or 2 years, and then I'm going to go out on tour and try my hand, you know, at the professional level.
Yeah.
But was that ever part of the decision making for you? Or once you started at Georgia, you knew you were staying the whole 4 years?
No, so I mean, I even prolonged it. I mean, I took the first fall off and just played futures, and then played in January. And you know, if I had an amazing year, you know, won NCAA's, you know, did just absolutely outstanding, then you know, then it'd be a consideration to, you
Mhm.
know, leave school and turn pro. But that's not how it was for me. And again, it goes back to what I was saying. You know, I'm still not, you know, winning challengers, winning futures left and right. So again, it doesn't really make sense until, you know, that I'm doing those things and achieving those things in challengers and futures. You know, for guys like the Francis TFOs, Tommy Pauls, Riley Opelkas of the world, those guys were winning challengers, right, at a
Right.
young age. And for them, it's a no-brainer, you know, that you guys are already, you know, top 300, 200 at, you know, 17, 18 years old, which is amazing. So you know, if the decision is not easy, in my opinion, then I think it's better to go the safe route, which also is great for my development. There's no harm in it at all. The sport's not going anywhere. If anything, you know, the average for top 100 tennis players is reaching closer to 30 years old. So
Right.
I think it just makes sense, and you don't want to, take the risk of, being in your early 20s and, playing futures for 4 or 5 years. It's not the greatest lifestyle, to say the least. So,
Talk about
I
that a
think
little more. Elaborate on what you mean.
yeah. So the futures is, there's a big difference, obviously, from playing the Truist Atlanta Open versus going to maybe Decatur, Illinois for a 15K future. There's you don't stay in the nicest hotels. The prize money is horrible, and the level is high. The guys are good.
Everybody's good, right? I mean,
Everybody's good.
everybody's good. Yes.
It's insane. And then the point structure is, in my opinion, very very tough. I mean, you can win, a couple futures in a row, and it's not impacting your ranking as much as it should.
Mhm.
And that even goes from the challenger level to the ATP level. Once, the hardest part in tennis is reaching top 100, and when you reach top 100, that's when it gets a little bit easier to maintain. It's easier to maintain top 100 than to break through into top 100 because of the point structure. It's if, as long as you can play all the ATP events and you can have, 2 or 3 good results within a year, then you're going to stay in the top 100. And for the guys that are on the challenger tour, which again, the level extremely high, you have to be winning challengers, pretty consistently, if not making semis and finals every other week, in order to get that breakthrough to maybe get into an ATP event, make a decent run, and then maybe get in the top 100. So it's just a tough system. The way it's set up right now, I feel like it's just the points are just so far off, and they need to better that, as well as the prize money. It's again, like I said, it's not a good lifestyle, because you're losing money every week in the futures. That's just how it is. You're spending a lot of money, you're not making any money,
even if you win the tournament.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you might get, gosh, maybe a little over $1,000 for 15K, maybe $2,000, and maybe it covers your expenses just for that week, but you gotta, if you're traveling with the coach, you gotta pay for the coach, you gotta pay for, flights for both of you, you have to pay for the food. I mean, that's the, stringing, I mean, the expenses are endless. And so if you don't win the tournament, you're definitely in the hole for the week.
Sure.
And if you do win the tournament, then, maybe you break even. So again, it's not a great lifestyle, and it's a place you want to get out as quick as possible. And by that, I mean, getting into the challengers, and then it gets a little bit better. And then once you get into ATPs again, then it's great. Then when you're top 100, you're making good money and you're living a good lifestyle, going to great destinations. So that's the ultimate goal for everyone. And it's just a tough road to get there.
Right. You mentioned the Truist Atlanta Open, which is an ATP 250 event that's been going on in Atlanta for, gosh, maybe a dozen years now, at least. And you've gotten the opportunity to play a couple different ways. You've gotten wildcards, but you've also earned your way in through qualifying events. Can you talk about why having those opportunities are so important to someone who has the goal of playing professional tennis? Because there's a lot of chatter, in the tennis Twitter world and other places about, well, so-and-so just keeps getting wild cards, and, that's just not fair, and blah, blah, blah. But the reality is these wild cards are super important, and having the opportunity to play qualies and get into a main draw by earning your way through qualies is also super important. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's a great point. And, I think wildcards are definitely huge. And what Eddie Gonzalez does every single year is amazing. I mean,
he's the tournament director for the Truist Atlanta Open, for those of you not familiar.
Yeah, exactly. And what he did for me this year by giving me this wild card gave me belief that, I don't even know that he'll ever understand that. I mean, it made such a big impact on me, knowing that, I went 6-4 in the third, was so close to the finish line of playing, one of the hottest guys on tour right now. The week before that, he made finals of 250. And So it was very rewarding for me to have the match that I did there, and gave me a lot of confidence knowing that I can play at that level. It's not that far off, and like we said, or like I said before, there's so many talented players in the futures and challengers circuit, but
Yeah.
the hardest part is just going week in, week out, making good results. But there's so many good levels. So if you can just kind of give someone maybe that opportunity with a wild card into an ATP event, they can make a good run, make a name for themselves, then that, propels them into the right direction that they need, to
Sure.
get where they need to go. Because there's so many guys that are already there that are maybe getting the wild cards when they may need it a lot less than some others, where it's, they have just as much talent, they just haven't gotten it, as much luck, or just been on the circuit, the challenger circuit, for so long. So
Mhm.
again, the wild cards are huge, and what Eddie Gonzalez does as the tournament director for the Atlanta Open is truly amazing, and it's big for college tennis too, because a
Right.
lot of people don't understand the level of college tennis. It's very, very high, and you know it's a lot of these guys are able to win futures and make it deep in challengers, and so it's a great way to show where college tennis is at. And yeah, I'm very happy that I was able to play and put on a good performance, and it definitely gave me a lot of confidence that I can do this, and I'm excited for the future.
And not only that, but it gives you as a player exposure to potential sponsors, which, as you've mentioned multiple times already, being on tour costs a lot of money. And until you break through, the prize money isn't often enough to compensate for the expenses. So gaining kind of that visibility to sponsors and having them help support your financial side of your career is a huge opportunity as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just playing that match, I mean, so many people. I got so many texts, so many people reaching out, just telling me, how proud they are of me and how far I've come, and people want to help me, right?
Right.
They know that, I'm in school, and I can't play, a full-time schedule of professional tournaments, which obviously puts me at a difficult spot, because when I start, I might be at, ranked 1,000 or 800 or whatever it might
Right.
be. And that means there's going to be a long road ahead of me. And, for the people that, were able to see that match and see where my level is at, they can support me, and it's great to be able to get my name out there through that tournament. So yeah, it was a great experience overall, and just being able to practice with all the guys, and the tour level guys, and seeing how they work. And it's again, like I said, I feel like the level isn't too far off. I don't feel like I'm too far off. It's just the road it takes to get there is the most difficult part. So again, just really excited for what's to come in my game. And yeah, I hope to play Truth Atlanta Open again pretty soon.
Yeah. Awesome. So senior year of college, are you graduating this spring or December?
So I started a semester late, and so I could probably graduate in the summer. Because of COVID, I have the opportunity to take a fifth year if I would
Right.
like to. So that is in the cards as well.
Okay.
We'll see what happens this year. Again, it'll come down to how I'm performing. If I'm ready, then
Right.
let's go. If not, then I'm not losing anything being here. So we'll just have to see where that takes me. And the fifth year is going to be something great, that a great alternative that I can do. So we'll see. That's definitely in the cards.
It's so funny because the fifth year has really changed the landscape of college tennis, especially at the top levels, because you've got players who were ready to make that move onto the pro tour, whether it's on the guy's side or the girl's side. They're graduating, and all of a sudden, ooh, I can stay in college another year, as you mentioned, have all my training paid for, have access to all of the support systems that I need, at the same time, get closer toward earning my degree, keep growing as a player, keep maturing physically and emotionally, so that when the time comes, I am fully prepared to make that jump and have success out there. And so we're seeing the level of these fifth year seniors that they're bringing to the court is better than ever.
Yeah, it is, and it's raising the level of college tennis dramatically, and then also you're seeing a lot of guys, transferring from,
Yes.
maybe some lower level schools who are phenomenal tennis players. We have a guy who transferred from Tulane who's a phenomenal tennis player. He played one there and he was very successful, and now he's here making a big impact for the team. And last year we had Billy Rowe who came from Vanderbilt. We also have Tristan McCormick who came from Notre Dame. This year he's playing for us for the fifth year. So it's definitely giving a lot of schools options to pick up some players for fifth years and make some really powerful teams. So we're hoping that's the case for us this year. And it's definitely changing the landscape of college tennis right now. So we'll see where it goes. I think there's my year, and then there's one more year of
Right.
Players that can do the fifth year, and then after that it'll be normal again, as long as we don't have another pandemic.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Oh
But
my gosh, yes.
yeah, so yeah, we'll see where it goes. But the fifth year is definitely changing the landscape a lot. And but it's good for the players. If they don't feel ready, then they get another year of school and another year of training. So again, and being in school is something that's really good, and you can't get anything wrong from it. So
Sure. And is he done, or he's still got another year?
So he's a senior right now. He actually had a pretty bad injury in his knee, so that kind of was a career ender. So he's no longer on the team right now. He's thinking about maybe rejoining, but right now he's very focused on his studies as well as TennisMentors.
And he's always been very academics driven too.
Yes,
I mean,
very, very bright guy. Bright guy.
Yeah. So what happens to TennisMentors once you're out on tour and traveling the world?
Yeah, so same thing. I think it's a great opportunity for me to stay busy as well. The tour can be lonely, as well as, I've talked to a couple friends, and they have a lot of time on their hands. They may have finished school, and they're tennis is definitely your job and your number one priority. But you practice maybe once a day, maybe twice. You maybe go to a tournament, you play one match a day. You have the rest of the day to, after you stretch, recover, do your thing. You have the rest of the day to do whatever you want. And so that's where TennisMentors is not going anywhere. That's gonna fill up my time, and I'm excited for it too. And maybe it'll fund my career, so I won't have to worry about that. But we'll see. But no, nothing will happen to it. It'll be the exact same, and if anything, I'll probably have more time to allocate to it, since I won't have any more studies to do.
Right. I just kind of thinking out loud here, but from a mental health standpoint, I think this is such a good thing for you, because it's not going to just be all about how you perform on the day on the court, but also you're going to have this other piece of your life where you're going to have success and be able to pull from that success to maybe balance out when you don't have such a great day on the tennis court. Because I don't care how good you are, everybody has bad days on the court.
Yep, that's actually a phenomenal point, because I felt that way in juniors as well when I was doing TennisMentors. It was like, you're gonna have bad days, you're gonna have tough losses, but when I would do that, I'd be like, okay, let's go back home, and let's talk to some clients, talk to some players, see how they're doing. And it's TennisMentors has been like a way for me to kind of get away from my own personal tennis, which causes a lot of stress. Everyone knows tennis is a very stressful sport, so when I'm able to do this is like my happy place, right? So it's definitely a great thing for me, and I get so excited to work on it every single day. So I'm very blessed that I have the opportunity to be able to work with kids, and hopefully innovate tennis into the right direction.
I love it. Well, Trent, let's just mention, you and I were talking before we went live, but you're going to be offering a discount for the
Yep.
Parenting Aces premium members. And so I just want to let people know that if you are a premium member, that's a monthly or an annual member, there will be a discount on Tennis Mentors, and you have a link to that in the show notes on parentingaces.com. But otherwise, I think, Trent, you mentioned it's $39.95 for the video course. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So an unbelievable bargain. And how many hours of video do they get for that price?
So it's 35 total videos. Each video ranges from anywhere between 2 to 8 minutes.
Oh, okay, great. So these are easy peasy to
Exactly.
watch, digest, rewatch as
Yep.
needed, and share with your whole family, because I'm assuming you become a Tennis Mentors customer, everybody in the family household gets
Absolutely.
access?
Yep. That
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Very cool. So for those of you who have multiple kids playing the sport, $39.95. Oh my gosh, this is such a bargain. And if you're one of our premium members, it's even less expensive. So this is kind of a no-brainer for everybody. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks so much for having me on, and I'm really excited again, everyone. I hope that they're able to gain a lot from this, and we really feel like it's going to make a big impact on tennis itself, as well as parents, coaches, and players. So again, we're really excited, and we can't wait to see you guys inside the course.
Absolutely. And to get that information, just go to tennismentors.net, and everything you need to know is there. And Trent, is there a way for them to contact you through the website as well if they have questions?
Yeah, if they have any questions, you can reach out to me at my email, which is trent@tennismentors.net.
Easy. All right. Love it. Trent Bryde, great to see you. Keep up the great work. I'm excited to watch the dogs perform this season. I know y'all are already back at it, and had a big tournament on campus over the weekend. So lots going on. Have a great season. Hopefully you'll be out in California at some point, so I'll get to see you live and in person.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure. And thanks so much, Lisa.
Thank you. And to my listeners and viewers, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you next time on Parenting Aces.